Hello everybody, welcome to the RITCH Podcast. I am Mitchell.
I'm Rob.
Today, or in this conversation today, in this podcast, we're going to be talking about many different things anyway. We're going to be talking about health and fitness, nutrition, self-development. There's so many things we can talk about in this spectrum that, we just figured we'd make a podcast, me and Rob.
We've got a lot to talk about. We're both fitness and, passionate about fitness in our own way. Mitchell, coming from a weight loss background, and myself, just a competitive motherfucker.
You're just a competitive motherfucker. We really are. Like, Rob beats me at everything. It's oh my God, every time we compete. But honestly, the other day, I had this injury to my shoulder. It's rotator cuff in particular. My shoulder completely popped out of the socket, and I was like, ouch, that hurt. Jesus Christ. And it makes you think, like, I've had this, like, introspective, internal dialogue with myself about, like, what I actually want to do moving forward and things like that. And injuries really do that to you. Like, I know you've had a couple of injuries in the past, like your ankle in particular, which really, really makes you want to think about how you take and move forward in life. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I just want to be swimming.
And like, we've all got that thought pattern, and it all brings ourselves back to it. And everyone thinks it's that linear progress. You're doing well, you're hitting the weights, you're getting you see how finally seeing some muscle, you're looking good, and then that injury sets you back. It literally is that point. But when we see it on a graph, we're able to go, we understand that there is setbacks that will come bounce back from it. But it's the reality of the setback. This is what you're in at the moment. So you have to do the good things. You have to listen to the people around you that have been in it and can see it from the outside perspective, and just do the right thing with your rehab. Focus on the things that you can control.
Yeah, Rob, as you can tell, Rob's a very smart man, isn't he? Jesus, I remember Rob hired me for my first job that I really liked within a gym, and I was like, Joe, what, this man's really intelligent. I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm gonna have to get on his level. And dedication.
There's a little bit of background. So we both come from a gym setting, and I was in a privileged position of being the head PT at the place. We was at a health and fitness centre, and I was able to make my first hire, to be honest. And it was Mitchell. I saw him. I went through a series of candidates. It wasn't just Mitchell in the interview, and he was the one I picked. Commiserations.
That was good for the shoulder either.
Here we are. Now we're not in a gym setting, and we want to build something of our own. And here we are in the podcast. Got a lot to say.
I know. I remember going in like my first day, and Rob was like, "Oh, I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu," and I was like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" I was like proper fanboy, because I was like white belt, white belt at the time. I was terrible at jiu-jitsu. I was like, "Oh my God," Rob was like, it was brilliant. And speaking of jiu-jitsu, that's how I did my injury in. So I was in turtle position. Someone tries to jump onto my back. This shoulder pops out. Bosh, pain, absolute pain. Can't even do that without there being agony now. I've got to warm the rotator cuff up every single time I work out, which I shouldn't have done anyway, but we know how we get. Humans can get lazy. You just want to jump in.
Yeah, the importance of a warm-up.
Yeah.
Let's start with that one then. What is the importance of a warm-up? Because you should warm up with everything in life. Let's get a little bit philosophical on it, When you go into something, when you're going for a meeting, you warm yourself up by being prepared, and you do a little bit of a warm-up before you go on stage, for example. So if you jump into fitness, or you jump into anything that's intense, where your body's going to get a rush out of it, of course you should warm up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So therefore, whenever you do any sort of gym exercise, please just warm up. You warm up the body temperature first by on the cross trainer. Then you've got to warm up the said muscle groups that you're going to be working. There come the dynamic stretches. That is the reason why you warm up. First of all, to tell the body, you're about to get into some exercise, warming up the lungs, warming up the heart, and just the core body temperature. Then you jump into the muscle groups that you're going to be working, leg swings if it's going to be a lot of leg movements, and you keep it dynamic because the muscles need to be told that they're able to move. Static stretches comes afterwards. So there's a little bit about the warm-up.
I know, it's so true, because I didn't warm up going into this class of jiu-jitsu, and because I was late, it was traffic, it was 6 o'clock, it was a terrible time. But then it's obviously went straight into it, and it's the body isn't warm. Normally I'd get there, I'd do my warm-up, I'd make sure I'd get a little bit of a sweat on to make sure the heart rate's up, make sure the muscles are raring to go before what is a very contact-driven sport. And this time you can't, and it's not fun.
You learn from your mistakes, and that is it. Literally, you went in there, and what's the reason why you didn't warm up? What is it?
Late,
rushing? Late,
because again the rush hour traffic was just
And everyone's in a mad rush. Everyone nowadays is living in a fast pace. They've got to get somewhere. Even I see it when people are out walking their dogs. They've got to walk their dog quick because they've got to be somewhere. Everyone just needs to take a back step and try and slow it down a little bit. So that may not be a possibility for some, but therefore learn organisation, learn a little bit of time management skills. I'm sure you can fit your time in better to slow yourself down. But that
it's also just like
we can look at things on a whole scale and pick holes in people. It's just you've got to try and do a little bit better for yourself and in order to make your life a little bit easier. So the point is not to pick holes in someone, it's to guide them into doing the right thing to make their life a little bit easier.
I mean, it's like learn a bit of like patience as well. It's like because you do see people like rush through life, especially in England, because we're like near London. Do you know what I mean? Like the London bounce off. It's like one of the
We feel the effects of London now.
one of the busiest cities in the world.
COVID.
You can't even breathe clean air anymore. That's what London has done to us. Like literally, when you breathe in Kent, you literally feel like you're
no longer the Garden of England.
Oh no, it ain't the Garden of England. It can never claim to be the Garden of England. It's got Chatham in it. It can never claim to be the Garden of England. It's got Chatham in it. Right on its doorstep is Gillingham. I'm like, there's no way they're claiming to be the Garden of England. It's like, no. Oh God, what terrible places they are as well. Never go to Chatham, ever.
Yeah.
You could back me up on that, wouldn't you? Literally, I was literally just walking by once, and I was like, the amount of times I get, do you have a lighter? Do you have a lighter? Do you have a lighter? No, I don't smoke. Of course I don't smoke.
And the fact that they're banning vapes now as well, it's like, and people are going to go back to smoking cigarettes. Just get off that stuff. Just come to the gym. Come to the gym. Go to our boot camp, Rich Boot Camp.
Yes,
Good time to introduce that.
Boot camp, Broomhill Park in Strood, ME2 3NB. Come join us every Monday. It's 7 till 8, and Saturday morning 10 to 11. It's what a life you'll live. You'll get so fit. You'll get so healthy. You'll get to see Rob's handsome face every single time. Do you know what I mean? It's
and
beautiful.
Potentially feature on the podcast.
And potentially feature on our RITCH podcast. It's fantastic. Yeah, no. What a life boot camp is. It's outdoor exercise. You're actually rooted with like real life. You're in amongst trees and shit. Do you know what I mean? Like you're gonna love your life. You'll breathe cleaner air. Like it's fantastic.
And if you're lucky enough, rolling dog poo.
if you're lucky enough, you might roll in a bit of poo. And that's honestly, it's happened a couple of times at a couple of the boot camps that I've done, and it's
you get on with it. You just kind of get on with it,
and that's.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to roll in poo. Ideally, I mean, I can only imagine if my mum rolled in poo at the boot camp because she comes to my boot camp in Strood. I'd be called every name under the sun. Like, son, why are you making me do this on the floor? Yada yada. Like, mum, just. I know, but yeah, Rob, do you want to tell everybody how good you are at jiu-jitsu? Tell them how you're like really good at this one sport, and it's like, or you're an Iron Man as well. Go into that. Like, tell everyone about your sporting background because you're.
Okay, so it's not going to be a bragging session because that's not a bit about me. I like jiu-jitsu. I've done jiu-jitsu for 6.5, 7 years, and to be honest, I found a new sort of challenge, and I call it a challenge because I've always looked to challenge myself. From school, I played football until I was about 18. Played at a decent level. Played for some good clubs, and then moved on to rugby. Rugby was at my grammar school.
I know you don't want it to be a bragging session. Can we just tell them some of the clubs you played
at?
Okay, so
I predominantly played at Ebbsfleet. I was offered the part where you go on to learn at the school. So it's like a what is it called now? It's like a college type thing.
Internship.
Like an internship, yeah. For Ebbsfleet to then hopefully go on and you hopefully try and get into their first team. I then played for Chatham Town, and that was probably one of our best sides. I have also played for Corinthians. Corinthians is a lovely ground down there, but then it was when I was younger. I was at Charlton Crystal Palace, and you're trying to get into
baller.
No, you're not. No, because it's youth teams, isn't it?
I don't know, baller.
You're trying to get into the youth clubs, and if you either have got the attitude or you haven't got the attitude, and there's a lot on talent at the time, but a lot of it's to do with attitude, and I didn't have the attitude. So now this is why I like to be more of a coach, because you can learn from all your mistakes that you made. And look to correct them if you know them and reflect them. So yeah, went to rugby afterwards, And rugby really wasn't my passion. Wanted something with a little bit more contact, and wanted a way to sort of defend myself. And I found jiu-jitsu. MMA was first, but it wasn't my passion. Again, I found grappling, and that was really where I liked to work, because you didn't have to strike someone in the face, but equally you get covered in bruises and umpteen injuries. And then my friend said to me just before COVID, he signed up to a triathlon. And I said, "Oh, what's that?" He went, "I'll come for this half marathon run with me." I hadn't run for years, really. I tried to stay in shape gym-wise for jiu-jitsu. And then I went for this half marathon run, 13 miles, and you don't think of it, oh yeah, I'll be able to do that, easy. You don't even think about it, but you don't put the distance into your head if you haven't run for a long while. And I went, and by the end of this 13 miles, I was crippled. I was crippled. My friend was, jogging backwards, and I was like, this is never going to happen again. And that's what sparked the interest. I was like, what is this? What is this running? What is it about? That's when I started running for jiu-jitsu, started doing different forms of exercise, and that's when my fitness really progressed in a coach perspective, because I just really started to look out how other people did things, because I had a lot of questions from people at the jiu-jitsu. And yeah, that's where I've come to be doing Ironman triathlons now. I'd love to find a world where I can go back to jiu-jitsu, but at this moment in time, it's just difficult trying to set up your own business and your own time, dedicate your own time to training for an Ironman, which unless people understand, they just say, why don't you just do both? And when you're as competitive as I am and dedicated to do well, you can't do both. You've got to give everything into one thing for a set period of time. That's when you can evolve your skills, and that's what I truly think. What about you, mate? Go on, give us a bit of background. Go on.
Oh God! Oh God! So
keep it short and sweet.
Keep it short and sweet. A little bit like me. Oh God! So in school, my most often comparison was Wayne Rooney. I was like, Jesus, I was called Wayne Rooney all the time. I took that as a
football skills.
I worked for the football skills. I was like, oh, someone's called me Rooney. I was well happy. Do you know what I mean? But in reality, yeah, I was massive when I was a kid. I was so large, like literally zero muscle mass, but it's big old. I was just well fat. I can't lie, I was just well fat, and pretty much I was like, oh, yeah, I have to lose weight, because again, I won't delve into the reasons why, obviously. Well, actually, no, do you know what is important? Because I think you have to talk about it. When you're about 17, 18, like you do not, like the thought of me when I was 17, 18 going, God, a woman's never going to touch me a day of my life. That spurred me on. I was like, Jesus Christ. And that's kind of
Would
why.
you say the thought was more internal or external? Was it people saying things to you that you didn't like, or was it the internal thought of you not liking something about yourself?
Both, absolutely, yeah? Absolutely both. It's as important. Obviously, you have to feel it within you to do something. Because if people were telling me, "Oh, you're a fat bastard," do you know what I mean? And I'm just like, I don't care. Then obviously I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah, of course.
But it's like internally, I had to feel that level of, all right, it's time for a change now. Time for a change.
So you had to know it was true. You had to know what people were saying to you, whether it's harsh or reality. Fundamentally, it was just the facts that you were overweight and you had to lose it, but you had to come to terms with yourself.
Absolutely.
So that's the right thing.
Oh no, absolutely. You have to. You have to. You have to. And again, that is pretty much it. I've not had a fancy background. I'm pretty naturally unathletic, to be honest. I'm not as athletically gifted.
Yeah, but I think it's just because I truly think that everyone's the same. People just genetics play
dedication.
They play a factor.
Yeah.
But it's also what you've been doing since you were a kid.
Yeah.
My dad, and this is credit to my dad, always promoted me to doing sport.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he took me to my football games, and my mum contributed as well, but it was mainly the channel from my dad.
Yeah.
Because he was the same. He loved sport. He loved football. But that was his passion. And the only thing I wish I'd done is found something sooner to put all that energy into.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. But can't look back and regret. So now what I do focus on is whatever time I have, put it all into that thing. Learn that thing. Because if you just spend 100 hours of doing it, you're better than the average person anyway.
Yeah.
And how long does it take you to do 100 hours? You've got to break that down into the week. So that's the reason.
Energy is also a finite resource as well, because again, I'm not sure if you'll all agree with me here, but it's like you only have a certain amount of just like energy you can put out into the world before it starts to diminish. You know what I mean? As we know, like for example,
that's your youth, though, isn't it?
yeah, because it's high amounts of testosterone, higher amounts of the hormone, the go-get hormone, as I call it, testosterone. And when you're in your 40s, which isn't normalised enough, when your testosterone drops too much, get your blood works done. Check your bloody blood works. It's important. Make sure you're healthy, because it's like when you're young, you've got so much energy, and people say, oh, it leaves you when you're in your 40s, and it's like you've got to use it whilst you have it. You have to.
But that's only because we stopped doing all the things that we used to do.
Mm-hmm.
Let's break it down. When you're a child, every break that you had, you went outside, you played on the playground. You teared around that field, running around. Some people didn't, right? Some people were, but they had that social interaction. They had their little jog, and they had time where they're burning calories, standing up. You had to walk outside. You had to go outside, and then you come back in. And then you did that on your lunch. Afterwards, after school clubs, you went and played football after school. You went and did whatever sport you said sport, or you didn't, right? So that was a thing. When you're younger, you can burn more calories because you're given the opportunity to burn more calories.
Yeah.
When you start working and you get the train where you're sitting down for an hour and a half into London, working from 9 o'clock, you're sitting down in an office job, you're getting up, you might have your half an hour walk, but you're on the mad rush because what we spoke about earlier, everyone's on that busy, fast time like frame, and then you'll go back to work. You're not burning the calories that you're consuming. So it is just what you're eating. You're just storing it because you're not burning it. So that's what from the difference is from when we were kids. We just did less and less and less. So of course the energy that we have is just going nowhere.
It's gone on to nothing.
So the body's like, why do I need to keep producing this?
Well, I also don't think it helps that you'd agree as well. We're social creatures by our nature, and the older we get, it feels like everyone just tends to just like stop socialising with people, and that also is not healthy. That doesn't help contribute to your amount of energy when you have no one around you.
We went through a change though with the social media. Social media changed everything, where people didn't have to go and speak to the person anymore. They're sooner just able to text them.
I feel like we're reaping the benefits of that in today's society, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what a terrible platform.
We are reaping the benefits. Yeah, you have to. Then you just have to put yourself. You have to put limitations into your life because you're going to have access to it. Everyone has access to everything nowadays. Information, misinformation, no information, whatever. You can go and get it. Where you're just scrolling mindlessly. We've all been that. We've all been in that position. We all still do it to this. Said day, unless you can put controls, limitations, and just stop doing it and change that with something that is progress into your life. Yeah, it's a difficult one for people to socialise and go back to what we used to have, where you just go and knock on the door for someone and everyone meet at the park. But you can't do that when we're adults now. But we can still go out for bike rides. We can still go out for runs. That's what me and my mates try and promote now. For each other, rather than going to the pub for a said pint, let's go out for a bike ride.
The thing is though, but you've got the balance quite nice in the sense that you have people in your life you speak to on a daily basis. It's like so many people in today's society have no one. That's quite concerning as well, because loneliness breeds many other problems in society. But it's like when you think of it, it's like there's depression and things like this are all-time high, and I'm like, well. People aren't socialising. People aren't doing the things that we're actually meant to do. Like the cavemen had their tribe. Do you know what I mean?
So how would you encourage someone to do that?
It's like you've got to find. You like Alex Hormozy, don't you?
I like Alex Hormozy because I feel like I can take the information. I don't know Alex Hormozy.
You like what he stands for.
I like yes and no. I know he's in it to make money, and he's openly says that. But what I do agree with. From what he had, yes, his backstory might not be right. He may have come from a privileged background. Everyone's got different levels of privilege, so who am I to judge? But he made something pretty much from that was he was unheard of to someone who is now doing a lot of money in profit. Yes, he buys into other businesses. That is his main business, acquisition.com. I'm even promoting him on our podcast. But what he does is he does try and just give you the information, and he's not trying to sell you the information. And that's kind of what I like, and you can see the information that he's given could constitute to actually working if you put it into action. And that's what a lot of people fail to do, is just put things into action.
But back to the original point anyway. It's like because I was watching Alex Hormozy on the Chris Williamson podcast, and then Chris Williamson goes on about like this third space. It's like obviously you got your work, you got your home. Not many people now have this active third space like we've had jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Like you've had, even if it's the pub, it's a third space where you can go and socialise. That's how I think people need to find some like this middle ground where they go to work. Yes, you're tired. They go home. Yep, but you've got to do something at least once a week where you are socialising with other people.
The gym.
But the gym is like, I mean, you know about the rise of like gym cells. You've heard that word?
A what?
Gym cell. So it's like
gym cell.
You're mixing gym and incel. It's like, so you get all these people who are like gym people who are like, oh, I'm so serious, putting their hoodie up, and realistically, it's like, oh, self-improvement art. When realistically, it's a code because really all they want is a girlfriend, and
it's the insecurities.
It's the insecurities.
Okay.
But masked as this self-improvement masquerade, which is no.
Okay, then so it's in classes.
Like if you do a gym class, that's absolutely
because everyone's going with the idea that everyone is being taught.
Yeah.
They're not going into a gym going, this is my space and this is where I'm lifting weights, this is where I'm doing work. They're going into a class setting where they know the instructor is going to be delegating.
They've got 10, 15 people.
They have to be social in a class.
They've got 10, 15 people to speak to. In a pub, you've got like 25, 30 people you can socialise with. At jiu-jitsu, you've got your teammates.
Yeah.
Like any sport, you've got your teammates.
Anywhere that has other people, team sports.
Anywhere where there's this sense of community.
So what would you say about sports like tennis? People that would opt for a two-person, would you say that constitutes as being the same?
If you've got someone that you're socialising with on a regular basis, then yeah, that's absolutely fine. You find somewhere where you're meeting people, you're actually speaking and like not letting this loneliness dictate your life. It's like it's so important for some people. And it's like obviously some people are going to be more susceptible to being okay, being lonely than others. You know what I mean? Like I'm perfectly okay in my own company. But it's also like I understand the importance that if you don't socialise for such a long time, it's probably not healthy. You're quite the same. You're okay.
I had this conversation with my dad, funny enough, and it was actually yesterday. I said to him that from going from a place where I worked in the gym and I was socialising a lot, I've come to really realise I do like socialising. I'm someone that can equally have my own time and enjoy my own time. And there are times where I'm alone and you're like, oh, it'd be nice to have someone else's company. You've all have those times. Yeah. But I can just relish my own time more than most. And a lot of people just don't like their own time. And that is one problem that I feel like people have when they can't spend time by themselves. Because if you don't like who you are, or don't like your own company, why are you going to like yourself when you're amongst others? Yes, maybe because they make you a better person or feel like you're a better person, but equally, there's going to be times where you have to, get to the bottom of why you don't like your own company.
And Rob, that's such a good point because it's like we're living now in a society where loneliness is being championed by people. We actually work in the industry which is like predominant for it. Like everyone goes to the gym nowadays, but gym cells. I'm sorry to use the word again. Gym and incel, mix the two. I have
no idea.
I know, but you're a bit older than me. I'm a bit younger though. Like, so it's like they're promoting this like, oh, be lonely, like hustle and grind. Yeah, hustle and grind.
Yeah.
But don't do it in a lonely state.
But who is that? Who is that that's promoting that? You have to look at promotions. You have to look at advertisements. Why do people? And then you're going down the route of conspiracy theory. But marketing and advertisement is something that programs your mind to how you think.
No, I'm talking actual TikTok users, not like big companies, like people individually who have TikTok accounts.
What
like,
saying?
Be on your grind. Be by yourself. Like,
right. Okay.
Like it's like that hustle porn.
They're trying to be like a David Goggins.
They've watched Andrew Tate once and thought, you know what, I'm gonna bloody go out there and like just be a king. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's like too much of that kind of things, like David Goggins, Andrew Tate. It's like it's probably not good for you. Do you know what I mean? Because you get so like, oh, I'm gonna be this lone wolf, and it's like, just shut up. All you actually want is probably to have a girlfriend. Just shut up.
Or some friends, or someone that just backs you. Someone that just goes, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, just go speak to.
I believe in you.
Go speak to. There's just like this fake alpha male role model. It's like Rob's probably more of an alpha male than fucking most of these people, and I've actually met him, for example, and I could say that. Do you know what I mean? So it's like why the fuck are you promoting some absolute? Why are you trying to promote loneliness when it's the exact opposite of what you should be doing?
I also think people really need
go get some friends to speak to
a coach a coach or a mentor, and this is not self-promotion or anything like that, but I look back at the people that I've really learned from, and one, you look at your significant others, and whether it's your partner, whether it's your mum and dad, you look at those, your brothers. Brothers are big ones if you have, older siblings. For me, I had 2 younger brothers, and all I wanted to do is give them the good advice. Obviously, you're the brothers, you've got to have a laugh. You've got to show a bit of dominance with your brothers. It's just the law. But you give them the solid advice. And then my point is that anyone that I look back to and really struggled with certain positions, whether it's jiu-jitsu, I'd go to my coach and believe in that coach to give me the right answer. And one, there's a level of respect because they've shared your information, but in the hard times, they're also people you can count on for when shit hits the fan, and it's nothing to do with the jiu-jitsu, nothing to do with that. There's plenty of times where I had stuff that go wrong, and I went to my jiu-jitsu coach and was like, I need to chat. And they're giving you trust them to give you the right advice because they've always done that in the sense of the professional standpoint. So I think that is an important person that people are missing if they don't have that in their life that they can go to and just know they're going to get the honest answer for someone that takes a neutral standpoint. So I've always given you honest advice. I've always said to you, I've tried to be professional in my standpoint when I was at work, but if you're coming to me and you want the honest answer, I'm going to give you that answer. It's not something that you want to hear, but you can go to your parents and they may give you the answer you want to hear. Go to your friends, they may not be able to tell you. Whereas if you have that coach, I promise you, in a professional standpoint, whatever sport that you choose to go and see them in, or fitness industry, whatever it is, they're going to be honest and they're going to give you the right answer to move forward in hard times as well. So don't be afraid to go and speak to a coach if you're having those times of struggle, or even if you're not, just reach out socially, keeping
social.
Yeah, keep up to date with people.
But having that role model in your life really is something that people need. You're so correct on that. It's like having someone who you look up to, and it's quite like you look up to him or her or whoever it may be, and you trust that person. That is important to have. It's so true. It's like
because everyone's looking forward to something. We're always saying that we're looking forward to that. You can't. We know the past is in the past, but we know that in the future is something that we can still be happy about. I can still be happy about your past, or you can be sad about your past. But in the future, you can always be looking forward to it. So it's with that person, you're always able to see that they are something that you slightly aspire to be like. Yeah. There's something always in a coach that you latch onto, specifically the ones you like. I like that about them. And whether it makes you feel better or whether, again, makes you a little bit of a better person by being around them for that moment, it's going to wash off on you, and it's going to carry you through onto the rest of your day or the rest of your life. But you're always looking forward to being a little bit closer to that role model. So as always, you've got to have people in your circle, whether it's in your peripherals, you can reach out to and go, I need your help, or what's this? And again, it's just someone that's maybe doing a little bit better than you are.
And this is it. You've hit the nail on the head. And again, we're probably talking more to like young men than we are like.
Oh no, I think females can absolutely do that as well.
Yeah, we can't obviously speak from a female perspective. So it's like we know tangibly what a man can go and do to help himself. You know what I mean? And so if you're a young man watching this, the man said it himself. Do you know what I mean? Find someone who you look up to. Find someone who you aspire to be like. Find somebody who inspires something out of you. Do you know what I mean? Don't be so hyper focused on being lonely and trying to improve yourself all the time. Like, live life a little bit, but look up to someone. Do you know what I mean?
Because ultimately, we're all just trying to be a little bit better than we are. Yeah. Like that's literally it. Or trying to do something. We're trying to do something to make others, for whatever reason. There's maybe external reasons why you're doing something. Maybe so others perceive you to be a little bit better, or that you perceive yourself to be a little bit better. And that's ultimately what it is. Either yourself or others that you're doing it for. And a lot of people do things for other people, but this is where it relates back. If you like yourself, do it for yourself. And that's a lot of the reason why now I choose to do an Ironman, because every time I learn a little bit more about myself when I get into that, the end of the run, where I'm hardly running anymore. And that's where you really go, who am I? And that's why I tell a lot of people to go and challenge themselves, whether it is, go and, if like you said, jiu-jitsu, I said, you've got to go and compete and learn about yourself on the mat, because you're going to come off it and go, damn, all that training I was doing and I lost on simple armbar. And then you redirect your training. That's what you need. You need little tests along the life that go, you got the right idea, but you just had a misdirection. So now you focus your energy into this point, and now you succeed. So there's the little corrections that you make through life by being tested. So that's what ultimately how I think now.
Yeah, and no one has all the answers, but
No.
we know what's best. But you'll learn what's best for you going forward, doing things that absolutely make you want to go to that internal mirror, as I call it. Like, look at yourself in the internal mirror and be like, do you know what? Who the fuck am I?
Yeah.
Because if you don't, if you're too scared to look at yourself introspectively, you're never going to grow. Yeah. I think. And
categorically, no one knows the answer. No one has an answer for what we do, for what is life.
We don't even know why we're here. No. Like, who can tell me? Like, no one can give me categorical evidence as to why we're here. Because some bad science will say the bang exploded in the world here, and
the Big Bang happened. Yeah, that's another conversation.
A religious person would say that God created the earth. Do you know what I mean? Like, so many people have so many different answers. It's just,
but ultimately, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. Channel your energy into a challenge. Try and be better. Try and do a little bit better than you were yesterday. Try and be better for the people that are around you. Be a nice person. Leave the earth how you want it to have been. And that's how you've got to carry on going. Otherwise, what is the point? What is the point?
Do you know what? I think that's a really good way to end it.
I think so.
Do you know what, Rob? I've listened to that if I was you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. This has been the RITCH Podcast. I'm Mitch. He's Rob. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.